That's one of the best questions I think that came out of the comments, to be honest with you. Not gonna lie. You can love me or you can hate me. But at the end of the day, you watch me. And that's all you can do. You can't even say the name correctly. People are supposed to take you seriously. And my response goes across the board to all you fans out there, okay? What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Social Club where everyone has a voice. I'm your host, Jacob Hill, joined with me by Nathan Garth. That's all you need, right? True St. Louis guy right there. So go ahead, like, follow, subscribe. Check us out on Discord, see what we got going on and everything with that. So this is our fan-led segment here. Like I said before, this is a community here. This is a growing platform. So the first thing I want to say is I want to thank all of you guys now. We just started this podcast, but the amount of comments that we've gotten on all of our videos is amazing. I love it, man. Absolutely. Keep that up. And as part of our promise of making this a fan interaction thing, we're actually going to read some of your comments. So what happens is that you guys comment things down below. We're obviously going to respond to you. But if we feel like your comment is very profound or funny or something that we want to bring up, then we'll have this segment here where we shout you out, address the comment, and talk from it from there. So if you want to be in on it, like I always say at the beginning of everything, follow us on all of our social media. And then wherever you see something that you want to talk about, just comment. Like, we're all there. You got guys like me, you got guys like Guard, you got guys like Cam, they'll go in, they'll make their comments, say what they have to say. And then, yeah, let's just have fun with it. I mean, talking about sports, talking about life, talking about everything, it's a fun time. So, with that being said, let's go into our first comment. First person I want to say is shout out to Dylan Price. Now, obviously, we know who Dylan Price is.
Oh, I know who Dylan Price is.
Okay. So Dylan Dylan Price made a comment, so shout out to him. And this was addressing the Cam. So this is our first video where Cam was talking about the SEC and saying how Florida could be, could be a top team in the Big Ten or somehow, some way. So that was his reel, and that was the context from it. And then what Dylan said was, whoever gave this guy a mic should get 25 to life in a Texoma state prison.
Yeah, I mean, you guys are looking at the guy that gave him Mike, so blame Hale for all of that. I don't know where it started. Obviously, Cam is a Florida fan, Florida boy, and so he has a lot of SEC bias. Just to put it out there, I'm a Mizzou fan, so I also have a team that is in the SEC. I think that I am a little bit more unbiased than some of these SEC fanboys. Honestly, I've been that in the past, but my personal opinion on this situation, I think that for the last 20 years, obviously the SEC has produced the most NFL talent, most national championship teams, not even just the run Alabama went on. We've seen Auburn win a national championship. We've seen LSU win multiple championships, obviously Florida. I think that this past year showed, obviously, a lot of the conference realignment changes the aspect and outlook of a lot of these conferences. I think that the top of the Big Ten was a little stronger than the top of the SEC this year. I also do think, though, that the 6th through 12th team in the SEC were a little stronger than the Big Ten. I mean, after you get past the big ones in the Big Ten, you have Iowa, Minnesota, Nebraska, USC, Michigan, SEC. You have Ole Miss, South Carolina, Mizzou, A&M, Vanderbilt. But yeah, the bias that comes out of Cam's mouth for the SEC is a little crazy and makes us SEC fans look a little dumber. But yeah, I agree with Dylan. Whoever gave him a mic, lock him up.
Yeah, so I'm the one who gave him Mike. Go ahead and arrest me right now, but whatever, man. Listen, Cam, there's a little bit of Cam in all of us, all right? No, Cam, the one thing I'll give Cam is that Cam is a ride or die person for his fan team, whether it makes sense or doesn't make sense. And he'll make it not make sense. But with that being said, there's a little bit of Cam in all of us, and that's what I respect, is that that's just him. He is his very true self when he gets on the mic and record. And with that being said, everyone wants to say Cam's takes are dumb, but a lot of you guys believe like that too. All right, you just say it, and you try to be more profound when you say it, but a lot of you guys think the same way. To be honest, a lot of you guys are very biased towards your sports team, and you're just going off of feeling than actual facts and everything. So even though Garth doesn't want to give me my credit, I am an LSU Tiger fan. That is where my allegiance is. So you would think I'm SEC biased, but I'm always pro common sense. So I like to objectively look at teams. SEC's always been the best conference. But with that being said, I don't like to get in that stigma that just because they're in the SEC, they're always just the better team and they always just deserve the edge out, because part of the reason we even have a bigger playoffs is because of this exact problem. Then we keep extending this problem out to where it's like we don't know who to put for this final slot, so let's just auto put an SEC team in there and just argue that it's going to be better competition, right? Sometimes it sometimes it isn't, is what I'll say. And my argument to Cam when we were talking about it was my stance was, you can have a 3-loss team in there. The only reason why I was against it, outside of auto bid for winning the conference, right?
Yeah.
So like just the at largest team. The reason why I was against a 3-loss to begin with was because I already knew that would only favor SEC teams.
For sure.
It wouldn't be put for any other teams. And then my example was, of course, the Miamis of the world and other teams, to where it's like, okay, like, how are we judging this teams? Because the ACC was really bad, but also it's like these SEC teams, them bottom tier teams are pretty bad. Anyway, my response to Dylan is that yes, I am the guy that put Cam behind the mic. I'm going to stand on that. All right. And from the wise words of Cam, since Cam is not here to defend himself, you can love me or you can hate me. But at the end of the day, you watch me, and that's all you can do.
Yeah.
Yep. So moving on to the next one. I'm going to give a shout out to Jordan Pratt here. I'm not the typical type of person to just roast people and everything on that, but just looking at your profile, let me just read. First of all, this is a very long name. I'm just going to be the one to tell you that. This is a very long name that I cannot pronounce. Maybe you can tell me the back and behind that name. Maybe it's something that's super cool. His comment that he had on here was similar to what you said. It's Genty in all caps, not Gentry. Can't even say the name correctly. People are supposed to take you seriously. I'm going to take that one.
Talk your talk.
Hey, listen, I'm taking that one to the chin. I've had a lot of people that mentioned that, and I would just say yes. For us being the platform, for us to be serious, we need to know how to pronounce names. So I'll take that one. I was very wrong on that. I should have made sure I knew how to pronounce his name before I got up on the mic and hit record. But also, if I ever want to give myself an excuse, I am from a Chicago suburb town, and I would like to blame the Chicago suburb public school education, because I actually do not pronounce names very well at all. And that's across the board. And if you put two consonants together, like a TH or something like that, I have a very hard time pronouncing those words. All right. So I blame my education system for failing me on that. And for me wanting to have my dream of talking on the mic and making it hard for me to do that.
Hey, hand up accountability.
Accountability, man. That's on me. But appreciate the comment. Keep them going. I respect it. The next guy here, we have Tyler Rice. It says MSU football. I'm curious what MSU
Michigan
is.
State?
No,
Missouri State?
because how it looks on here, I'm not sure. It could be Missouri State, but with that being said, he's also an agriculture and engineer major. So shout out to you. I graduated with my engineering degree, so I have respect for that. I'm already a fan. Maybe I'm biased, that's why he gets shouted out on here. So what he said was, this was in context to the Heisman Award race competition that we were having. Of course, I was for Travis Hunter, and Cam was for Ashton Genty to win. So what Tyler Rice said was, the Heisman is historically a QB running back award. There's actually been more running backs to win it than QBs. Since running backs encompass today wins both halfback and fullback, there's been 42 running backs and 37 QBs, and 2 that did both. So to say running backs shouldn't get it is just dumb. Now, let me respond to this first. And my response goes across the board to all you fans out there, okay? I'm sorry, guys, but we're done with the 90s. We're done with the 80s. We're damn sure done with the 70s, the 60s, and so on. All right. So when I make this argument, be clear that I'm talking about everything up to the year 2000 and nothing before that, unless it was needed, right? So from 2000 all the way to now, there's only been three running backs to have won the Heisman. And it's been very QB dominated. It's been very QB biased for sure. But I only say that to say, like, people think I'm hating. I'm a young guy, so maybe I am hating. But you look up, this is what I want you to do. Look up the 1999 Nebraska schedule. Look up their games online, the full game. I want you to watch every single game that they play leading up to the championship because people believe that's the best team of all time. And what you're going to realize is that it was just a completely different brand of football during that time. It's just a completely different era, completely different time frame. I can respect them, but I don't like to bring those teams that old into this conversation because it's just such a different league right now
Yeah.
that it's not even worth bringing that up. So when I said that it's not a running back award in the statement and it would cause such a big fire, I'm thinking of the last 25 years where it's only been three running backs and where we've seen really great running backs like a Melvin Gordon and a Bryce Love who got second in the Heisman voting get edged out over QB play essentially. So that was the framework of my argument. But what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah. Historically, for a lot of these Heisman races, it's the best QB on the best team, or at least one of the best teams. I personally am on the Genty for Heisman. I know there's been some seasons where that have been close to what he's been doing this year, like you said, Melvin Gordon, and then some older guys as well. I just personally think that Travis Hunter, and we're recording this like I said after the college football awards. It's a crime that Travis Hunter won the Bolitnikoff. I think Travis Hunter is definitely top 10 in both positions, probably even higher for cornerback. But I just think what Genty's doing. What's Boise State without Genty compared to Travis Hunter without Colorado? Obviously, they're both worse without him, but I think Ashton Genty. That Boise State team's probably 7-5 without Genty. Colorado maybe loses one more game. He's had some big stops on the goal line. Obviously, he's had 2 and 3 touchdown games, but I think it's just nice to see a Heisman race that neither of the top two candidates are quarterbacks. I don't think any quarterback this year would have deserved it. Obviously, Cam Ward's having a good season. Shedeur, Dylan Gabriel, they're all fine, but it's kind of refreshing to have a Heisman race that's not a quarterback's not really in the running.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll need you to unpack this for the last comment, but yeah, absolutely. And it's funny. So when me and Kim had that conversation, we also were talking about Devontae Smith's year.
Yeah.
When they won, and I just looked back out of fun to look at the stats. I didn't know there was 2 QBs that passed for 4,000 in that season with Mac Jones and Kyle Trask.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That was insane. That is an insane year of a Heisman race for sure. But
yeah.
Moving on to our last comment, we have Rocky Overstreet. Now, looking at his profile here, lover of Christ. Good. His comment is Bama, South Carolina, Ole Miss will be favorites on a neutral field over Clemson, SMU, Boise State, and Arizona State. That's one of the best questions I think that came out of the comments, to be honest with you.
Spot the lie.
That is a great conversation. It really is.
While I believe that is true, I also don't think that you can use betting lines to determine who the better team is. Obviously, it gives you a little bit of a story on how the country and how Vegas would match up the teams. I was an advocate. Obviously, it's the question between who should be in and who deserves to be in. Obviously, SMU deserved to be in. The committee kind of came out and said before championship weekend that they're not going to penalize people for playing an extra game. Now, do I think Ole Miss, Alabama, and South Carolina are probably better than SMU? Yes, maybe, probably. But at some point, you can't lose to Oklahoma by 20. Ole Miss, you can't lose to Kentucky. South Carolina, now that team is a lot different because they obviously lost to Alabama and Ole Miss, so it's tough to put them in front. But if we're going on who's playing the best at the moment, I mean, they've won 7 straight games. Broke my heart for my Mizzou Tigers. Mizzou's probably in the playoff if they win that game, even though I don't think that they should be. But yeah, it's just while I do, that's just some of that SEC bias where you just automatically assume they're a little bit better. Now, I do think it's different because SMU was a group of 5 team before this year, so they probably are better than SMU, but SMU definitely deserved to get in. And I think obviously you have them winning a game. So I think it can be interesting. Honestly, I just like seeing a different team in too. We've already seen Alabama win 6 national championships, and but yeah,
Yeah. I think the argument I presented to him was Clemson was actually favored to win the game against South Carolina. Now, granted, Clemson was at home, right? But I was like, it's kind of a tough bet. And even, with saying a bet like that, similar to what you said, it's like, does that mean that they should be in the playoffs based off of what their performance has been and all that stuff? Because again, with the Bama thing, Bama was a 20-point favorite or something like that.
Yeah.
And then they ended up losing. So, your pregame spread versus your performance are 2 different things, right?
Exactly.
We just have to look at how they perform and what they do to see if they're deserving to be there. I love South Carolina, honestly. I was a personal fan of them. I wish they could have found a way to get them in, but we both understood it was a fleeting effort just for what happened. While I appreciate that LSU win at South Carolina, they probably should have won that game.
No, that was one of the worst calls I've ever seen in my life.
It was.
South Carolina robbed.
Yeah, but I did win on a betting standpoint, and I am a LSU fan, so good call, ref. Did a good job right there. But with that being said, again, I want to appreciate all the fans that have commented so far. There's been so many comments on our feed. It was hard to even pick out what we wanted to say, who we wanted to pick on there. But again, the more you comment, the more we're going to comment back to you. And then obviously the things that we really like, we're going to make more episodes like this where we address these comments with the fans. So if you guys enjoyed this, go ahead, hit the like down below, subscribe to the channel, and of course, hop in our Discord. We get a lot of people in the Discord. You're really going to talk to us.
Yeah.
We got a lot to say on there. We might even hold groups to where we get all the fans up here. We talk ball every week and, go through all that. So if you guys like that, let us know. We'll see what happens from there.
Yeah, keep commenting. Let us know your hot takes. Let us know why you think Cam is an idiot, and just keep it up.
We love you, Cam. All right, we do. So with that being said, see you guys in the next one.